Hi there, this is Chris, Champion the Cap, Motolegends. Today I'd like to talk to you about a jacket from our French friends at Segura. It's a jacket that's called the Segura Woodstock jacket. So I wanted to kick off with a bit of an apology. We recently reviewed another Segura jacket. That was the Segura Leone. This is the Segura Woodstock. And the jackets are quite similar. They're very different looking jackets, but the spec, the functionality of the jackets are quite similar. So I apologize if we recently sent that video to you. You then watch this one and you think, I've heard all this before. It is true that there is some commonality between the two jackets. Anyway, this jacket, the Woodstock, I think it would be improbable if every time I stood up here, I told you that I loved or liked everything I was reviewing. I think I would lack a certain amount of credibility, and if that's what I said every time I stood in front of a product, I think over time nobody would believe me. Well, on that score, I've got to tell you that I'm not mad about the Woodstock, but only because it's just not me. It's not my kind of style. And that's fine. We're all different. We all have different tastes with different proclivities. I like to go home after work and relax by walking around the house in high heels, but that's not everyone's thing. So it's perfectly fine for us all to see things differently. But whatever I personally think about this jacket, it's got a great spec. What is it? It's kind of a Bell-Staff Trial Master, an entry level. I don't like that phrase, but it's a kind of, I can't think of anything better than entry level, but it's an entry level Bell-Staff Trial Master. And what it has in common with the Trial Master are these four external pockets, the central belt, the length. This is in that ilk, as it were. So it is not waxed like a Bell-Staff jacket. It has a material called Sirica, which is a mix of cotton and synthetic fibers. Those fibers are much stronger than cotton, so this jacket passes the CE standard at AA. If you did watch that recent review, by the way, of the Segura Leone, I said that that had passed the French test and not the EN 17092. Actually, I'm wrong. Segura now works to EN 17092. That jacket was also a AA, and that's good. I would not expect any more than a AA, so I'm impressed with that. If you bought a jacket, any jacket from Rucker, Halvarsons, any of the technical brands, any textile jacket is going to be AA. So I think for a jacket like this, which is admittedly casual and laid back in its style, for this to be AA is really all that you could expect. In terms of the technicality of the jacket, first thing I can say is it's got a waterproof membrane. It is a waterproof jacket. It's a drop liner. It's a fixed drop liner membrane, not a laminated membrane. I would not expect a jacket of this style to have a laminated membrane. A laminated membrane is what you'll find in a high-tech commuting or touring jacket. With a laminated membrane, you're going to be better off if you're riding for 4 or 5 hours in the rain. But the downside of a laminated membrane is it can make a jacket uncomfortable, a bit crispy, a little bit crunchy. This jacket's all about the comfort and walking around off the bike every bit as much as riding on the bike. And therefore, I would not expect this jacket to have anything other than a drop liner membrane. In terms of its thermal protection, you've got a full sleeve length quilted liner that is lined with aluminium. Now, you will know those blankets that they give to runners after the marathon. What they do, they reflect the heat back in the body, in towards the body to keep the runner warm. That's why you have aluminium in a liner, and that's what this jacket has. There is some hollow form fibers in the thermal lining, but then you have another layer of aluminium, just makes it much more effective. In terms of protection, you've got armour, CE approved armour obviously in the shoulders and the elbows. There's a pocket for a back protector. The back protector doesn't come as standard, but again, one wouldn't expect it on a jacket like this. Segura does not work with D30, but it just so happens that the pocket in this jacket will nicely take a D30 Viper, and if you came to see us, that's very much the piece of armour that we would recommend. It's softer, more pliable, nicer to wear than the armour that Segura recommend, and I also think it's probably a few quid cheaper as well. In terms of spec, it has a ridiculous number of pockets. I stopped counting when I ran out of fingers, but let's just run through them briefly. You've got a pocket here, a side entry one here, a side entry one here, another one on the sleeve, pocket here, and then pockets on the inside. Let's just leave it at the fact that there are more than enough pockets on this jacket. In terms of adjusters, you've got obviously the central waist belt, a bit like the Belstaff jacket in that you've got this cover here that goes over the buckle that is going to prevent you ever scratching your tank. You've got adjusters at the end of the sleeve. You've got a zip and a belt adjuster here. This is very nice. It kind of feels very Belstaff. In fact, Belstaff don't use this system, but I think it would work very well on one of their jackets. The zip is important. You want to get the cuff of your glove inside the sleeve. Once that's in, you tighten it down, and then you would adjust it tight by using the popper on this belt arrangement. So I think that works really well. You've also got on the side of the jacket, and I remember discussing this on the Leone jacket, we think it's important on a mid or long length jacket like this, you've got these zipped gussets. And what they do, they allow the bottom of the jacket to splay a little. That's important because whilst this is a very cool looking style for walking around on the street, in some ways it's not wholly practical on the bike, because as you sit on the bike, that's going to tighten around the zip and it will make it uncomfortable. And what tends to happen then to compensate, if you do not have these zips, you end up having to push the jacket higher, then it pushes into the neck, it all becomes unsightly and rather uncomfortable. So these zipped gussets allow the jacket to splay, just makes it a little bit more comfortable on the bike. Main zip is a YKK zip, and it's a old-fashioned brass toothed zip. Again, that's what you would find on a Belstaff. Now, the problem with a zip like that is they don't tend to be waterproof, so you need a storm placket. Sometimes, in fact, on most Belstaffs, you'll have that on the outside. What this jacket has is a storm placket on the inside with a channel for the water to run down. So even though in heavy rain you might get some water in this zip, it will run inside, it will run down the jacket, and it will come out of the bottom. So I suppose the question is, what is this jacket? And in terms of its styling, it's a little bit like the Leone. It's a casual jacket, it's a weekend jacket, it's for people who want a biker jacket that doesn't tell everyone I'm a biker. It's got a bit of a retro feel, so if you've got a sit-up bike, a retro bike, a cruiser, a jacket like this is going to work particularly well. It's incredibly comfortable to wear. So I think that if you're someone, again, I'm sorry if I'm sounding repetitive, but it is a little bit like the Segura Leone. If you're someone who does, say, 5,000 miles a year, you're not going to commute in this jacket, you're not going to go world touring in this jacket, but if you're a 5,000 a year rider, then this may just be the only jacket you need. It does a bit of everything. It's going to be fine in the summer, it's going to be fine in the winter because it's got the thermal line, it's going to be fine in rain. As I say, it does a little bit of everything. And at just £270, I think it's really pretty well priced. In some ways, this is a very, very impressive, inexpensive jacket. It's just not something that personally I would choose to ride in. So if you wanted to look at more Segura jackets, who knows, maybe even the Segura Leone jacket, then visit the website motolegends.com. If you want to learn more about the Segura Woodstock, then if you click on one of the links on the screen, sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there, that will take you to a dedicated page on the website. There you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail, you can check availability, and if you wanted to buy one of the jackets, then obviously you could do that there and then. Now, when you buy from us, we try to make the process simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protected wear that you buy from us. Returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. We have the best price promise in the business. Now, John Lewis is rightly famed for its never knowingly undersold promise. We go one stage better. If you can find anybody selling anything that we sell at a price that is lower than ours, we will beat that retailer's price by a full 10%. If the retailer is in the EU and not in the UK, we will match their landed price. Now, there are a few terms and conditions, nothing particularly onerous, but if you are going to price beat us, I suggest you visit the website and check out what those terms and conditions are. In the future, if you'd like to receive bulletins from us about new products, then if you go to the website, at the top of every page, there's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on there, within seconds you'll be in business. Once you've done that, you will then receive bulletins from us in future about anything new that we send out. If, however, you prefer to get your information videographically, that is to say in this form, we would be simply delighted if you want to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking on the button below. I'd like to finish off with a play for our fabulous little shop here at Motolegends. We're about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station, and as I say, the shop is quite small. It's got a small footprint, but it's attached to our warehouse where over 3 floors we have more than £2 million worth of stock, which makes this technically the second largest motorcycle apparel shop in the UK. But we think that we are far more than just the amount of stock we have here in the building. We're about service, we're about personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. When you come and see us, we'll serve you only the finest illy Italian coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of Sean's mum's delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.